Hi, Cherry Pies. Welcome back to Cherry Chats. Let's get right into it because I have a lot to cover and I don't think that I'm going to get through everything in this video at all. But basically, I want to start off by speaking about Diamond the Body and what happened to her on Baddies, which sparked me to make this video. I probably have like 4 TikToks on Baddies and Natalie Nunn from season 1 of Baddies, and now it's like Baddies has made it to what, about 5 seasons, and the show has gotten progressively like worse. Like the show has just become a cesspool of trauma and violence against Black women when we are already the victim, the number one victim of domestic violence. Period. We're the number one fatalities when it comes to domestic violence and just harm against women. We are the number one group of not just women, but people, period, who have been abused and terrorized the most throughout history. And this show is promoting that violence with no type of positive outlets. These are not baddies. I'm not sure when the definition of baddies became fighting, because being a baddie is a Black term. That's something that we do apply to Black women. We share it, but it's definitely a term that started because of a certain aesthetic, right? A baddie was the baddest Black woman you know, and that's how it started off. It did start off with Bad Girls Club, and one of the earliest definitions of a baddie to me from Bad Girls Club was Kat, who did make an appearance on Baddies. She is an original baddie, okay? These other hoes, they are saddies. These women who are fighting for a paycheck, who are seeking validation, they are saddies. They are not baddies, okay? Diamond, her fight, and I'm going to wrap back around to this. We're going to start over, but I do want to say that with Diamond the Body, when she went to auditions and she auditioned to be on the cast of Baddies, she set herself up from jump. You feel what I'm saying? When Tinkerbella walked up and she decided that the spotlight attention wasn't on her and she wanted to be on this show so bad that she would snatch Tinker's wig off from behind, didn't even square up with this woman. You snuck a random woman you had never met in your life. You never met in your life because a panel with a alleged madam told you to. That's how bad you wanted to be on the show. Now we are realizing that Zeus is cutting them checks. We have revealed information that as the seasons have progressed, Zeus has begun to cut checks for these girls getting beat up, because when these girls get beat up, people subscribe, they watch it, and Zeus gets paid. So that is why they think they have to go into this fighting. But I just want to say what Tasiki did to Diamond, it was disgusting. It was too far. It was definitely a setup, but it was definitely also instant karma. Not instant, but it came full circle. What you did to Tinkerbella at the reunions, I've always remembered that, and that's one of the main reasons I did not like Diamond the Body. I didn't like her the first few episodes. I just saw her the same way, y'all know, as I see Biggie, as I see a lot of the new girls. And this season they had the replacements, right? Basically the throwaways who we could bring in the fight and throw away. They had the replacements just coming in fighting and then sending them home, like fighting for their spot. These girls are followers. They're do boys. You send them to the corner store. You send them to do your dirty work. Natalie, the person whose show it is, who shouldn't even be on the show at this point. These women are grown. These women are very grown. They all have daughters or children, period, who's watching this, and they're just setting the example that violence, especially violence against Black women, violence against people you cohabitate with, who you're supposed to be getting money with in business, violence against women in general, women you call your sisters and have to sit down and eat dinner with and then get on a boat and twerk, that violence against each other is okay, and that we can never just sit down and talk. Every time they have a house meeting, it's turning into a full out brawl. Like it's really a setup. They don't even want to talk. Like clearly, Natalie, all her years in the industry, she has not grown, and she cannot be a mediator for these women because she hasn't grown out of that mindset herself of being a little girl. Madam Nunn, everything I say in this video, in this podcast, is alleged, is just my opinion. It's just what I heard on the street. I don't know if it's true or not, okay? But Madam Nunn, is a madam. Okay, she has a history of selling dreams and like pimping out girls. Like this is her business. This is why she's so successful. This is why she get in these circles and hang around these people. And it's always like, well, how did Natalie end up here with the baddies? How did they end up here? Because she's a pimp and she provides punani. She provides girls who gonna come and fight. She provides a turn up in a party. Okay, she was taking these girls to Dubai allegedly. We done seen the videos. We done seen all the pictures of her and Scotty being intimate. She pimped Scotty out to Lemmy. She pimped Anna out to Lemmy. She pimping a lot of them girls out to Lemon Pepper allegedly. Mariah too. And you wonder how these boring girls who add nothing to the show are on the cast because Scotty was boring to me. Scotty was born to me until Natalie started feeling like too much of her pimp, and then she had to start standing up for herself. Um, Anna is just a character, just loud and obnoxious. And then Mariah, don't nobody like Mariah. Don't nobody know why Mariah there. All she do is switch sides. Sapphire, boring, and she's a bad friend. Crossed out Sookie, but got the nerve to be trying to hold people to friendship standards. All these characters who are just so boring, it's cause they doing something behind the scenes. They sleeping. I'm sorry, y'all. I have to watch how I am around this mic because I'm still learning. But they're sleeping with members of the cast, like production, security, Lemmy and his brother and his uncle and whoever he got up there cutting them checks. I believe all of these girls are tied up in intimate relations. And I don't know how long they expect to be in business. To me, it's looking kind of like they're gonna get their money and they're gonna get out. And that's why they letting it go downhill so bad because they should have been had a lawsuit. Zeus should have been had a lawsuit. I don't know what they got in these contracts. I don't know if the checks just get. I feel like Zeus probably has had some lawsuits on the way, but they making enough money to where they could settle a lot of lawsuits before it even hit court, and they getting paperwork signed of like, I'm gonna cut you this check for, you feel me, $250,000, but you better not ever try to sue us for the trauma and inappropriate relations and everything that was going on when we had you as a member of this cast. With the baddies, at the end of the day, when it comes to TV, reality TV, you have to remember that these girls are actors. What happened to Diamond should have never happened to Diamond. Yes, they're fighting, but a lot of the fights have never gone this far. And that's what's so sad about it is that she's literally a throwaway. If you have a show about fighting, why don't you have medical staff on hand? Let's just the bare minimum. Why don't we have real therapists on hand? These women are violent and they're very, very old to be this violent and this petty, to be chasing people down in the street, to be wanting to fight because, oh, you didn't stand up for your friend, to be wanting to, what's going on? Like, what is this mental illness? These women clearly need help because no amount of money would make me get on national television, a national streaming platform, and beat another woman knowing I have a daughter at home watching. And I would never want anybody to put their hands on my daughter or for her to think that that is how women operate and that's normal. Like fighting is cool and cute and normal because the audience for these shows, grown women who got jobs and 9 to 5s, they is not sitting around watching baddies. Okay, if grown women are catching baddies, it's because they had a hair appointment. It's because they just happened to run into a friend they ain't talked to in months, and it's like, girl, let's watch what everybody's talking about. This trending online. Nobody who got anything going on with their life is actually watching baddies. It's young girls, impressionable girls, unhealed girls. That's who's watching it. That's who's relating and absorbing this content, and that's what they're used to. Anybody who's not used to violence, trauma, and everything they got going on, they will not be able to watch baddies because it's such a dark energy. Even on TikTok, Kiva got on TikTok speaking about how ever since she has left baddies, her life has been downhill and she just feel like she has dark demonic energy on her. Yeah, yeah, you do. Everybody do. It's just how do you handle it. Some people take that money and they buy that happiness. They cover up them demons with the liquor and whatever they sniffing and whatever they smoking. whatever they smoking. Why you think Biggie got tired of fighting and pretending like she was hard and she was this and that? Biggie threw that whole character away because that is too much heavy energy to carry, and she was tired of fighting. She was tired of getting beat up by Jayla. And I think she deserved it because she was playing a character, and that's what happened when you play tough. That's what happened when you play a character and you think you could go around and call people out and you doing something, you being a do boy, you being a pet. She was a pet to Natalie, and then she would get jealous when she didn't get special treatment. Like, you're still being caged, you're being initiated, and it's not like you're attractive, no disrespect, but it's not like you're Scotty and I can pimp you out. You can't pimp Biggie out. It's not given the standard of the other hoes in the baddies cabaret. It's just not given the standard of what you've been pimping out and selling. So we gotta pimp you out by bullying you, by making you look crazy, by beating you up. Like, that's just it. The hoes beginning to look worse and worse each season. The body's getting more botched because the show is not focusing on finding actual baddies who are about their business. They just looking for throwaways who ready to fight. Okay? The people who've been on the cast, Rolly, Natalie, they not finna let nobody beat them up. They done been in it too long. They're the OGs, you feel me? And they're not gonna let these girls get hurt. They're not gonna let their face card get messed up, because at the end of the day, when they go to the club hostings and all of this, that's who people looking to see. That's the face of all this fighting and destruction and violence, okay? That's what gets people going. So they choose who fights the breakup, and just what happened to Diamond was just extremely wrong, and it's really sad. Baddies is basically, at this point, it's just trauma corn. Like, that's all it is. It's for people who love black on black violence. Like, if they not making enough slave movies for you, if you can't find black people getting beat, it's not enough. Like, you missing that old southern comfort and thrill of the good old days. You can just cut on baddies. Terrible people are enjoying their lives. They're playing baddies at KKK rallies right now. Literally, they are playing baddies at KKK rallies. Nobody liked Diamond, and I think it's sad because I think she genuinely liked them. I think she felt like she was doing a job. I think she felt like she took on a role, and that role was to, of course, get in a little scuffle here and there. But at the end of the day, this is a job. Like, nobody expects to go to work, whether you're filming, whether it's reality TV, no matter what it is, and to have to truly fight for their life. Like, okay, we're gonna have some made up beef for the cameras. We'll do a little scuffle here and there. And then you got to think about all the liquor they're drinking. Baddie shot o'clock is the whole tag of the show. These girls are drunk. So even when you forget, like, oh, it's not just TV and I'm heat of the moment, me and this girl arguing, we done built up this beef the last couple of days so we could have a storyline and we could hopefully stay in the cast of baddies. When you think of it in that way, these girls are getting drunk and all of that go out the window. Now it's like, oh, you swung on me, you accidentally hit me too hard. The whole script goes out the window. And that's the sad part of why don't they have people on hand to keep these women in the right mental state. They're not mentally there. None of them are. And sometimes you do have to get the sense knocked into you. And Diamond definitely got the sense knocked into her. But I don't think she should have had to lose a tooth to do that, because Diamond single-handedly was doing all the advertisement for the reunion. Let's talk about that. Like, those videos of her in the gym training, her making all those beefs, her saying that at the end of the day, that is her job. So y'all saying Toxicity, she had to do that. Toxicity is dealing with her own trauma from her childhood. Whatever her and Krishan had going on, these are two traumatized women. And there's a lot of allegations and a lot of stories about what was going on. Accusations of molestation, of abuse, of their father dragging their mother to the woods and tying her up and beating her in front of them. Like, I've heard some crazy things. I don't know what's true, but from what I hear and from what they portray, even from Blueface fighting Krishan's father to Siki and Krishan fighting each other, fighting siblings like that, I know they had a traumatic past, and now Zeus Network is profiting off of their trauma. And I just think there has to be some responsibility for not just this show, but even shows like Love After Lockup. A lot of these reality TV shows, it's like, at what point does the show evolve? But that's why I'm saying Zeus Network does not plan on to like going up. They will rebrand, they will rename, and they will move on. I'm telling y'all, they're gonna be hit with something that they can't get rid of really soon. There's nothing bad about the baddies, like literally, not their appearances, not the bodies, not the surgeries, nor the natural bodies. None of it gives bad to me. Not their attitude, not the way they treat their friends, not the way they treat each other. I don't see them eating no steak dinners. They barely doing activities. They literally just drunk in the house fighting. And imagine fighting out the country. Can you imagine that? Taking a vacation, and your vacation, even if you're not involved in the fights, but your vacation, you looking through and they fighting. Members in your group trip just constantly fighting. What type of environment is that to be in? What's bad about that? They're not bad. A baddie is not gonna go stand in front of a panel of women and ask to be on a show to fight and allow when those women say, "What's bad about you?" Hit her right now, punch her if you're bad. Taking directions, crashing out, being like that. How is that the definition of bad? Like, I don't get it. It's literally sad. It's sad, but you could see through the auditions what type of women they're picking. Because the women who are actually bad and who actually know themselves and who were coming to showcase something different from the show, who aren't gonna crash out and just do whatever Natalie says, who aren't thirsty for a trip and attention and a baddies chain, the women who actually have standards and morals and care about themselves. When Natalie or anybody on that panel, Spice, whoever the guest judges, Suki, whoever be up on that panel, I'm holding all of y'all accountable. When they tell them, okay, well, hit her, we'll do this. If you bad, do that. If you bad, do that. The women who don't listen, who are like, I don't have to fight to prove that I'm bad. I'm bad because I get money. I take care of my children. I give back to my community. In my city, I'm known for being bad. I own multiple businesses. I do back to school giveaways. I'm bad because I don't pay for nothing when I step out. I'm bad because I ain't pay for nothing to get here. Everything I got on paid for by somebody else. That's what make me bad. Like, how is that not a baddie? Why isn't that something you want to showcase? And it's just the fact that it's been so many seasons and the show has no progress. Like, y'all don't have a real team of producers making a storyline back there. Y'all literally just sitting coming up with stuff on the spot, and there's no longevity in that. Y'all giving us 20 episodes of BS. Ain't nobody watching. Ain't nobody watching these episodes. They don't care about these characters, and you could tell that they don't care because we're fast forwarding to see the fights, to see the arguments, and then we're moving on. We don't care who got beat up, who tooth got knocked out. There's no humanity, there's no compassion because these girls aren't even getting to tell their story. How did I end up so crazy and deranged? Like, I could see if they had the storyline of, okay, we're baddies, and what makes us bad is that we came from trauma and abuse, is that we had to fight and we grew from that. That's what makes us bad. We got some common sense. We got some decorum about ourselves. We evolved, and now we can spread to younger girls or change this image or this stereotype, this wrong perception they want of us out here. That's what makes us bad, the growth, the evolution. These hoes ain't got no growth, no evolution. They not telling their story. They're not giving us no background of how they got to where they are. So that I could do TikTok reviews and social reflections for y'all. They not giving us nothing. And that's why a lot of people, when Krishan put Persuasion in that sink, that just because she ain't like what she said, when Krishan attack anybody, just because she don't like what they say. When Krishan attack anybody, we don't have no compassion. Well, I do, but y'all don't have no compassion or humanity. It's just a clip to spread on Twitter. It's a clip to put on Insta. It's a funny little. It's a sound. It's no compassion or humanity for these women, and they set it up like that on purpose. Even when Tanka and Meatball was fighting, which I think that was scripted. I think there was some stuff going on, but them tears and stuff was forced. I tried to force myself to cry so bad during that scene. I said, okay, finally a moment, right? A true friendship moment, because I know they're not gonna fight, and that's good. I want them to show that when you really love a woman, you're never gonna put your hands on somebody you call a friend or used to call a friend or none of that. Y'all can scream and fight and argue all you want, but once it gets physical, that's not your friend. Like, that is not your friend. Anybody who would physically hurt you is not a friend. Because if your boyfriend slap you, your friend group not gonna all be like, oh, get back with your man, it's okay. So if your homegirl slap you, why would I tell you to go get back cool with your homegirl? If she slapped you once, she will slap you again. If she slapped you, I actually don't know what else she'll do. She might set you up to get assaulted. She might leave you at the club drunk 4 a.m. If she already beating you, then I know she'll leave you on a highway in Miami and catch a flight back to Atlanta. She don't care about you. And if everybody else can see that, how can you not see that? So that's just common sense. Like, so even in that scene, I tried to cry. I tried to boohoo cry because I just felt like, damn, I done had this where I'm fighting with a friend and I just feel like they didn't support me and love me. And so I'm trying to empathize. I couldn't find one tear. And I'm a Pisces. I'm a crybaby. I cry about everything. I could not, I could not sympathize or empathize or nothing. I could not. It was a whole joke to me because that's how random and out of place the scene was for this show, to the point where we finally did get a nice little emotional scene and it just didn't even fit. It didn't even make sense. Now, when Sookie and Sapphire fell out, that I think I did shed a tear when Sookie and Sapphire fell out because Sapphire didn't help her friend, and that was emotional for me. But it's because throughout that season, Sookie consistently showed compassion and spoke and showed her true character and was herself. Sookie told her story. Sookie spoke up. Sookie like so I had compassion for her in that moment because I saw how they came into the house like this. And one thing that I believe in, you come together, you leave together, right? Like, so Sapphire switching on Sookie in that moment where she was fighting Rolly and she was fighting little throwaway, what's her name? E.T., another follower, another throwaway. They bring you in, they abuse you, but you attacked the wrong one. You attacked Natalie and now you ain't got no spot. You could have attacked anybody else and been a throwaway. Like they had you, they was telling you to fight her, so and so and so, and making you fight for everybody. And you thought that was cute, which I heard she's a mother, and that's crazy to me because ET is so young minded. Her and Biggie are so young, and Anna, like you could tell who is a child on the show and who's a woman who still has a child's mind. You know what I'm saying? Some of these girls do have room for growth, and they do belong on Baddies. Some of them do, but them old grown hoes, they gotta go. Them old grown hoes, they got to go because it just don't make no sense. But I did have compassion when Sookie and Sapphire fell out because they had built up, oh, we're best friends, we're sisters, and they had convinced me of their bond so much that it hurt me when they did fall out because it didn't match what they portrayed it to be. So with that being done, Sapphire made a complete switch this new season. So I don't even see how she just beefing and so big and bad, walking around with that pencil like everything is okay. And she was crying first episode trying to make up with Sookie. And I'm glad that Sookie left and said, I have to go to Rolling Loud. Like, I'm bigger than this. I'm not making up with you. You wanted to be a baddie, you a baddie. Now these are your new friends. And them is not the friends to have. You could have been at Rolling Loud and you out there hanging with a whole bunch of hoes, fighting on boats. Baby, I would have rather been at Rolling Loud and we could have went straight down to the ports in Miami after that and chartered us a nice little peaceful boat ride, you and your bestie. But instead, you want to be on a boat with a bunch of old hoes. Anyways, y'all see, I go to ranting. I feel like I'm going to cut it there. I'm going to cut it there because I want to get into Jocelyn's cabaret. But I just wanted to speak on Baddies first. But I want to speak on Zeus Network as a whole and how they operate. But it is going to take me time to get all my receipts and put everything together about how they pimping, hoeing, and all the trauma that each members of the cast and how it has progressed from season one, where we got the OG bad girls, and how it transitioned to baddies and eventually just became saddies. Okay? It's saddies. They might as well cut that baddies tag. It's saddies. But I want to get into Jocelyn's cabaret and how basically you can see Jocelyn's trauma reflected. Like Jocelyn is a whole pimp herself. And you could see the dynamic better because Jocelyn doesn't hide it or cover it up under the guise of, oh, we're baddies. She treat her hoes like hoes in front of the cameras. She run them in front of the cameras. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, why y'all following what Jocelyn say so much? But it's because she cutting their check. She's paying them. She's giving them opportunity. With Jocelyn, she went and found the brokest, like most destitute strip club, used to being pimped out, used to a hard life, hoes. And the whole guise of her show at first was that she wanted to give them an opportunity to get out of the strip club and to not rely on men for money. She wanted to make these girls independent, and not have to do what she had to do, which was go with Stevie J and allow him to try to control her and hold her back for all those years, because Jocelyn has been on the rise, the straight up come. Soon as she left Stevie J, a real star was born. He was dimming her light and her shine. So if you look at season 1 of Jocelyn's Cabaret, like, she started off very compassionate, very nice to those girls. She wasn't a pimp. She didn't cuss at them. She didn't fuss at them. It was the other way around, because they only respect money. They only respect being yelled and cussed at, fussed at. And that's what she realized. So that's why every season forward, she got meaner and meaner, because these girls are coming from mean environments, traumatic environments, and they can't understand nothing outside of that. On top of that, Jocelyn, even though she had to get tough with them because that's the only environment and communication they're used to, she would still have loving, soft moments with these girls. Same thing with Natalie, and that's what your abuser will do. I've been in domestic violence situations. Your abuser is gonna be mean as hell. They're gonna cuss and fuss at you just like your mama will, and then they're gonna ask you, "Come on, come eat this spaghetti. You want to ride to the store with me? You want to come on? I'm gonna buy you this Baddies chain. Oh, I got us front row seats to do this. Oh, look at these bags I got y'all." That is how you do that push and pull with your victim, and they become addicted to it. And these girls are not only addicted to the lifestyle that Zeus has been able to afford and provide them, they're addicted to everything that comes with it. They're addicted to the attention. They're literally seeking like approval and validation. They're not getting it anywhere else. They're seeking a position, and they don't want to be pushed back out into the cold. They've been brainwashed to think that it's okay what's happening to them. And I just want y'all to know that that's why they progressively, so they couldn't do that with Judy or the women who were on Bad Girls Club. They had to go find new people to throw away. They had to find young minded crash outs. And that's all these women are. They're crash outs, they're throwaways, and they don't genuinely care about them. But because they didn't have anybody who cared about them before, if you're giving me money and you're supplying my lifestyle, putting food in my mouth and giving me a platform, it does make it seem like you care about me more than anybody else. If these girls cared about themselves though, they would leave these contracts a little loose and a little open, because I would have been had a lawsuit. My whole intent of even going on Zeus would be to get that lawsuit. Because you telling me you paying 250K or Tasiki or whoever to beat up whoever got paid a $250,000 to beat up whoever, okay, then I know you got $1 million for me. When I say I went on there and got assaulted, I know you got $1 million for me, baby. And that's just the bottom line. But I'm gonna end it there, y'all. I'm gonna get my receipts and my facts together, because I could talk for hours about Jocelyn's Cabaret specifically, because I just love how all the girls get to tell their story on there. They get to explain their background. You get to actually see how they became who they are. Like even Yummy Crazy Behind, she let y'all know she was homeless, sleeping in the car. And it'd be little stuff like that. Like then you wonder, dang, why is she fighting her just because she came in her room and touched her stuff? She just told y'all she was homeless. She never had nothing. Why is she fighting her? Why is she wearing these crazy wigs? Because she never had nothing. Or she got treated bad when she didn't have them wigs on. They make her feel better to cover herself up in any way that she can. Like I could go for hours about every girl on Jocelyn's Cabaret. That could be a whole series. I'm not even getting into the baddies. I mean the saddies. I'm sorry. I'm done with them sad assholes. I'm done with them hoes. I just can't do it no more. So I'm gonna end it there. Y'all like, comment, subscribe, tune in, follow, do all of that, share. And I love you, cherry pies. I will see y'all next time.